This beautiful old wharf in Devizes is the headquarters of the K&A Trust, and also houses a canal-side shop and a museum. Here we meet Commander Nick Wright, the General Secretary of the Trust.
I mean, the last 28 years has been restoration, but the last 5 or 6 has really brought that restoration to a climax. The Trust sees itself with a great future, partially still fundraising to improve the water supplies. That's really the next aim, you might say, in conjunction with the Waterways Board and the local authorities, because they'll be involved in maintenance of the canal. But we also see a very important role in the good usage of the canal. And that's looking after it from both the historical, the features side, the industrial archaeology, which is most important, and also from the general conservation of the canal. We've been very careful in the past, and the board is now very careful indeed about looking after the waterway. But we feel a body like the Trust, who has members in all sorts of different organisations, whether the boaters, the anglers, the walkers, we can all contribute a large part into the canal's well-being.
The Black Horse, typical of the canal-side pubs and inns and restaurants where canal travellers take their ease. Wadworth is one of those breweries that likes to keep old traditions alive. This company's beautiful Shah horses aren't mere showpieces. They are workaday beasts with a job to do, and they're part of the character of Devizes town. British Waterways has the responsibility for the upkeep of the canal and its navigation, fishing and cycling permits where they're required, and other regulations. Terry Kemp is waterway manager.
We've had this length of waterway around for a long time, and I think it's marvellous that we as an organisation have said to ourselves, let's bring it back to life again. Bring it back to life. We have. Customers are coming to visit it, to use it, to enjoy it, and as far as I'm concerned, I've got a love affair with this lump of water, and I'm very prepared and very happy to share that love affair with others.
Will the wildlife, do you think, suffer from the numbers of people?
No, I think it's been a case of perhaps the same as our customers, perhaps beginning to realise that they've got to balance their needs against other needs, equally with regard to the wildlife. And I consider the wildlife as perhaps being some of our customers as well. They too, I'm sure, will adapt to the ongoing use of the waterway and the increased use of the waterway as well.
Since the canal really fell into total disrepair in the 50s, when did you actually come into this, and what state was the canal in when you came to take over?
I've been around now for about the last 14 years in various disguises along the length of the canal. In fact, as a waterway manager, not that long at all. We as an organisation have said to ourselves that we have perhaps got to be much more customer-led, got to be closer to the customer. And that need means that we've actually got to be there close to the towpath, working with the customers. And there's no use having a head office official dealing with that somewhere in London or somewhere else. You've got to be there close to the towpath. So the reason I'm here is to make sure that that actually happens, to give some headroom to actually work with it.
Some of the most important restoration work was achieved on this sequence of 29 stepped locks in less than 2 miles at Cane Hill in Devizes. Here we descend to around 200 feet above sea level to continue on our way down to Bristol. The unique side pounds ensured adequate water supply. The boatman called the last pound Shangri-La. Do you wonder why? From the gentle hills of Berkshire, through the dramatic hillscapes of Wiltshire, and now down towards the steep, rich valleys of the west, as we pass through the pretty little town of Bradford-on-Avon, the second of the two rivers to give its name to this man-made waterway, now flows down from Wiltshire's plains to travel side by side with the canal. Like Reading and Newbury, Bradford-on-Avon was once a centre of the English cloth trade, and this quaint little building in the middle of the bridge began life as a chapel. Later, it had a less wholesome purpose. It became the town jail. Pleasant riverside accommodation for the night. From here we travel with John Meadows, chairman of the Bath and Bristol branch of the Kennet and Avon Trust. What's a bridge or two to open on a relaxing journey like this one? Especially when your fellow travellers are so helpful. In these magnificent valleys, principal canal engineer John Rennie excelled himself. When he, with his work of art, needed to span great gorges as here at Avon Cliff. He equalled, if not surpassed, the works of nature. The 2 miles between Limpley Stoke Bridge and Avon Cliff always presented a serious maintenance problem. Built on fissured limestone, the canal water quite simply leaked out. The whole length was concreted in 1976 under a job creation scheme. From 1788 to 1810, the Kennet and Avon Canal Company constructed the Western Canal from Newbury to Bath, creating the canal as we know it today. Men toiled long, hard hours for the equivalent of 7.5 pence to 17.5 pence per day. Some died in the making of the canal. 2 canals, river, road and railway, all converge at this point. The Dundas Aqueduct, named after the first chairman of the Kennet and Avon Canal Company, Charles Dundas, MP for Berkshire. It was designed by John Rennie